Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the combined municipal council meeting of Monday, December 23rd, 2019. Everybody, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Coyle. Here. Councilmember Deal.
Here.
Councilmember Gomez.
Here.
Councilmember Joshi.
Present.
Councilmember Lombardi.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Sandelsky.
Here. Adequate notice, please.
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by an annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Sentinel on December 1st, 2018, and posted main lobby municipal complex on that same date.
Okay, we have the review of the minutes, combined meeting of November 13th, 2019. And then we are removing from the agenda the minutes for the meeting, combined meeting of November 25th, 2019. Okay. Moving on to reports from all council committees. I'll start from my right, Councilman Coyle.
Council President, I just want to end the year and thank the administration for the help with our beautification committee and support through the mayor's office, and looking forward to our planning for 2020. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Dio.
Thank you, Council President. The Committee of the Whole continues to move forward with our investigation. Our investigation is ongoing. At this time, I can't reveal any of the information we have so far, but I want to let everybody know as we go into 2020, we should have some good information for you, certainly important information, and we'll be keeping everybody abreast as we are able to. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Patil.
None, sir.
Councilman Joshi.
None, sir.
Councilman Lombardi.
None, sir.
Councilman Sandelsky.
None, sir.
Okay, moving on to points of light. We had, last Wednesday, the 18th, we had the menorah lighting at the JCC on Oak Tree Road. Despite being, the weather being a little iffy, we had a big crowd, so it was great to have everybody come out and be part of this event. And of course, always want to thank the Department of Recreation for putting their efforts into making these always top-notch events. So thank you all who participated, and thank you all who made it possible. Township offices will have a half-day tomorrow on December 24th, closed Christmas Day, and then a half-day on December 31st, New Year's Eve, closed New Year's Day. Reorganization meeting is going to be on Monday, January 6th at 6 p.m. And the new water department starts on January 1st, 2020. I believe that everybody at this point should have received the communication in the mail. All right. Okay, moving on to the agenda items. From the business administrator, resolutions A through D.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
question to Maureen. On D, is this just the retirement of employees or includes the layoff? It says layoff or.
It's the one, we did the ordinance at the last meeting. This is just authorizing the notes. It's the same employees.
That's correct, but there is no layoff, right?
No, no. This is just people that retired.
Oh, thank you.
The reso says layoffs, that's the only question.
That's how I have to word it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on from the Department of Finance, resolutions A through E. From the Department of Law, resolutions A through G. From the Department of Planning and Engineering, resolutions A through C. From the Department of Public Works, resolutions A through C. From the Department of Recreation, resolution A. From the Township Clerk, we have resolution A, and we are adding a second resolution for granting a 50% fee waiver. Okay, from the Department of Water and Sewer, resolutions A through D.
One question. Maureen, do you know when will those trucks be available? Or when will we have these trucks?
If it's passed tonight, we'll be placing the order in the morning. So
Okay.
they're on the lots.
Oh, so you'll have them immediately? Okay, thank you.
Corrections, resolutions A through F for the water. From the Chief of Fire, Resolution A. Okay. Moving on to the member from the council member of the planning board. Sorry, Mr. Sandowski.
Thank you, Council President. The Planning Board had a meeting on Monday, December 16th. The following resolutions were approved. P 5162, Shea Extension of Time. P 20-2019, Edison Land Investment Route 1, Tommy's Tap House. Also amended P 2 2017, Camp Kilmer Road 2. And P 25-2019, Total Renal Care, Inc., 5561 Route 1 in the Wick Plaza, the former, I guess it was Golden Corral or something like that. New business we had, amended P6 2016, Lincoln Property Management, 1918 Route 27, Block 1143, lots 26 and 27.02. It was a proposal to convert 5,000 square feet from one medical tenant to two medical tenants. There was a variance for parking spaces required, 78 proposed, 63 plus 10, total of 73 were provided. The ordinance requires a payment of $5,000 per space for 1 to 5 spaces. After hearing the expert's testimony, the board granted approval with the following conditions: payment of the $5,000 per additional space needed per ordinance, granting of the variance for the extra parking spaces, acceptance of our engineer and planners reports, and any changes made to the approved plan will require return to the board. Case P 24-2019, Hilltop Associates, Dayton Drive, Block 643, Lot 20 and 20.G, also Block 643.DD, Lots 20.K and 20H.2. Proposal to implement a roadway beautification plan by widening a portion of Dayton Drive along the affected lots. No variances were requested. Dayton Drive is a private road. The site modifications were approved with the following conditions. They must show that the turning radius for the fire apparatus, agree with the planner and engineer's conditions, and no changes can be made to the approved plan without returning to the board. Case P 28-2019, Federal Business 1115-1105, King George's Post Road, Block 390.A, Lot 1.02, was a proposal to construct a 466,989 square foot warehouse facility. Variance requested for freestanding sign, minimum front yard setback. Testimony was given by the applicant's engineer and planner. The application was approved for preliminary approval with the following conditions. High-pressure main must receive waiver from gas company. One screen dumpster enclosure must be provided for each additional tenant. There will be 473 street trees on the site, 173 of which are provided on this site for the adjoining lot, which is the next case that we did, P 27-2019. Variance granted for 10 feet off curb instead of the required 15 feet. They needed better sign visibility. No changes can be made to the approved plan without returning to the board. Case P 27-2019, Federal Business 1099-1105, King George's Post Road, Block 390.A, Lot 1.03, was a proposal to construct a 66,015 square foot warehouse facility. Variance requested for a freestanding sign, minimum front yard setback. Planner Bignell stated that no storage of vehicles will be allowed on site except for those servicing the facility. Testimony was provided by both the applicant's planner and engineer. Preliminary and final approval was granted with the following conditions. Variance granted for freestanding sign setback of 10 feet off the curb. 173 tree shortage is made up with those planted on the adjacent lot in case P 28-2019. The SU 47 emergency vehicle must be able to traverse the site and must be shown on the plan. They must adhere to both the engineer and planner's comments, and no changes can be made to the approved plan without coming back to the board. R 462-092019, BJ's Warehouse Club in Edison Woods Plaza, Block 266, lots 39, 40, 41, 43.A, and 49, and Block 198, Lot 29, 1000 US 1. Presentation was made by Bignell Associates for an area in need of rehabilitation. Mr. Bignell, in making his presentation, stated that the site met criteria 6 of the items that can be considered when naming the property in the area in need of rehabilitation, which states that the majority of the water and sewer infrastructure in the area is at least 50 years old and is in need of repair and maintenance. The Planning Board, upon hearing Mr. Bignell's presentation, agreed with his report, and the property is an area that the property is an area in need of rehabilitation, and returned the study to the council for their determination. Patrick Avenue redevelopment plan, Block 203, Lot 17, qualifier C0003, and Block 206, Lots 1A and 2 through 15. The area consists of 16 individual parcels. It's an irregular parcel that has 125 feet of frontage on the north side of Patrick Avenue and 150 feet of frontage on Route 287. The allowed uses in the redeveloped area will be the following: assisted living residential facility, memory care assisted living facilities, skilled nursing or convalescent home, housing for persons suffering from brain injuries, physical, mental, or developmental disabilities, age-restricted senior housing for persons 55 years or older, including senior independent living. The plan meets the goals of the State Development and Redevelopment Plan Objectives 1 and 3 to revitalize certain properties in Edison in their current vacant condition to an actively utilized productive site and to promote beneficial economic growth for residents of Edison. The Planning Board, upon hearing Mr. Bignell's presentation, voted to recommend to the council that this property should be named an area in need of redevelopment. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Okay, moving on to unfinished business, ordinance 2061. Any comments? Okay, moving on to discussion items. Start from my right, Councilman Coyle.
Council President, I have none. All my concerns have been addressed through the administration, and we have follow-up in the new year coming. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Dio.
None, sir.
Councilman Patillo.
None, sir.
Councilman Joshi.
Yes, Council President, I want to take a moment to thank my council colleagues, Michael Lombardi and Lenny Sandelsky, for your years of service. Having finished just 2 years so far, I can honestly say that no one knows what it's like to be sitting in our positions or how difficult it is to face a constituency of 100,000 residents. Let me give an oversimplified analogy. Think about how long it takes for you and your friends, people you know well and choose to be around, trying to decide where to go eat and how many opinions are suggested. Multiply this exponentially for every issue every single day. That's kind of what it's like to be in public service. Throughout all of this, as colleagues, we've agreed, disagreed, and debated many issues, and each time it has always been respectful. Both of you have taught me many lessons and so much about intricate details of Edison Township. Lenny, you were my go-to encyclopedia for information on Edison when I was first elected. Mike, your pragmatism and level-headed approach to issues is truly remarkable and admirable. You both have heard me vent many times, and I appreciate it so sincerely, most especially when I was known as just the rookie on the council. I can't thank you enough for your mentorship and support over these years. Thank you for your service in Edison. I wish you both the best moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're still on discussion items. Councilman Lombardi.
Thank you, Council President. First, I want to thank Councilman Joshi. I do have some other remarks to make. I'll do that towards the end of the meeting. But I wanted to take my time in my discussion items to actually recognize you, Council President. Thank you for serving as Council President this past year. I've been here 8 years, and I could say that this past year has probably been one of the toughest, or a year with some meetings that were tumultuous, to put it easily. But you handled it well. You handled it even-handedly, and you deserve recognition, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Sandelsky.
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Joshi for his kind remarks, and I have some remarks I'll make at the end of the meeting also. I just had a few. I'd like to thank you too, Council President. You know, I know you're late 15 minutes today, but we'll let you go. We'll let you slide on that. Like Mike said, for the most part, you handled some very difficult meetings this year, and you handled it with some finesse and aplomb, and it's appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
Maureen, I have a quick question. The heating system in Minnieville, when's, is it in, or is it going in, or?
It's in the process. It should be done before the 1st.
Okay. Also, I had mentioned to Jim Ayotte, there was some parking of construction vehicles on Stony Road from the construction site, and the people had complained at the planning board meeting. So could you make sure that that gets followed up on?
I had sent him an email, just waiting to hear
Okay.
back. I haven't heard anything
Okay.
from him.
And then for Jay, I just want a quick thing, Jay. How's our house on the corner of Harding Avenue? How are we doing with that? The tarp blew off the thing, and it's still looking pretty ugly.
Sale has gone through, and actually, the current owner is working with John Soltesz on effectively looking to permit to rebuild that house and restore it. So it is, as recently as last week, he was in the office.
Right. The other thing, and I know what the answer to this is, on the weekend, I appreciate you taking my text on that 7-Eleven on Lafayette Avenue, where people had suggested that there was people defecating in the street over there and stuff like that, and you did further investigation, and what did you find, Jay?
I sent an inspector that same day, and the restroom was operating properly. There was a issue with, according to the manager, his statement was apparently there was an issue with somebody smoking in the restroom itself. He ejected that person, but also then kind of effectively said, we don't have a restroom, which I explained to him, you can't do that. You know, you can be selective, you can be careful. If a particular individual has done something either illegal or damaging to your bathroom, you may want to exclude him, but you can't exclude the general public from using the bathroom. But there was a functioning bathroom. We went unannounced. We went the same morning that you texted me.
Sometimes things get on social media sites and they get out of control.
Understood.
And I appreciate you checking it out, and at least now the public will know what the truth is.
My pleasure, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Any other comments? We are now moving to the regular meeting, or start the regular meeting portion of the combined meeting. Okay, do we have the approval of the minutes? Have a motion to approve?
Wait, before we do that, I think the clerk was saying the only thing that's on the agenda tonight is November 13, November 25, or haven't been finalized yet, so just want to be clear that that's the only thing, the only thing you're
Right.
looking at is November 13.
Thank you.
And Council President, I was not present on November 13th meeting, so I'll be voting no, or absent.
Okay, you're abstaining, okay, no problem. Okay. Yep. We got a second? Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Council President remarks. Thank you, Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Sandelsky, for your kind remarks. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all my council colleagues for supporting me in being your council president this year. Yes, as noted, certainly we had some difficult times, but I think always with the intention of trying to keep us moving forward and trying to act in the best interest of our residents and the town. You know, we always put that first. So difficult at times, but I think in many ways, proud that we can continue to move things forward and continue to push through. So thank you again for the opportunity to have served as council president, and again for the support of everyone in voting me in. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I just want to also echo sentiments from other council people. You did a great job this year.
Thank you.
I'm not saying I had, all the confidence in every council meeting and what you had to go through, but you managed to pull it off and keep a balance, and you were fair to everyone on this council, giving us a chance to speak, including myself, which I limit my time to 6 minutes, and I know that I'm definitely using less time than most people on the council now that we have new people on the council. But I think you did a great job, and Councilman Lombardi certainly shined at different times better, but we can say, and it's been fair, we've discussed that you certainly have been tested more than other council people, and I truly, and I mentioned it more than a few times, you did a remarkable job this year, Council President. Thank you.
sir. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I'm going to let you slide on the 15 minutes. I say that in
I think
jest.
it was 10, but stop talking.
I say that in jest, of course, because Alvaro Gomez did a terrific job this year, and everybody who's been here, and I look out and I see so many people who have attended so many of the meetings this past year. You know what has been said about Alvaro Gomez tonight is true. He did a terrific job under very difficult circumstances at time. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he had to do. He was fair. And Councilman, I want to applaud you for a job done exceptionally well.
Thank you, sir. Very much. Thank you, everyone. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Clerk, please read.
An ordinance establishing the not-to-exceed salaries for certain offices, department heads, and employees of the township.
Going to open it up to the public.
I want to go last. Motion to close? No. This is on the ordinance.
This is purely on the ordinance.
Oh, not public comments?
No,
All right,
only on the ordinance.
make sure you let me know the public comments.
Will do, sir.
Thank you. Oh, I'm your number one
Okay.
fan, Gomez.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Any council comments?
You need a second.
Roll call, please.
Second.
Got a second. Oh, thank you.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Deal?
Yes.
Councilmember Joshi?
Yes.
Councilmember Lombardi?
Yes.
Councilmember Patil?
Yes.
Councilmember Sandelsky?
Yes.
Council President Gomez?
Yes. Okay, moving on to the resolutions. I'm going to open it up to the public for comments on the resolutions only. Mr. Tar.
Don Tar, 52 Reeder Road, Edison. Just a query, a question here. R758, a resolution awarding the contract to purchase 2 Ford F-350 open utility trucks from All American Ford of Old Bridge in the amount of $191,000 plus. I'm a little surprised at the price tag on those two vehicles, particularly considering the fact that I just pulled up the Old Bridge ad for the very same vehicles, and the cost is $52,940 apiece. I recommend to you, you might want to look into that and further research the amount of money you're spending for these, because it's the same vehicle. And it's new 2019 Ford Open Service Utility 9-foot body Super Cab F-350 4x4 from All American in Old Bridge, New Jersey.
We have a whole purchasing department that looks into this, but I can check again.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not sure
just-
exactly what the ad is that you saw, so
Well, it's,
I'm at a disadvantage.
you can pull it up right now if you choose to get on your smartphones, and just seems like there must be adding quite a few additional accoutrements to each vehicle to nearly double the price. So I recommend that you might want to look into that and research it a bit
You
further.
said they're how much they're listed for? Because this is for 4 of them?
Price each, $52,940.
So that would be almost exactly what we're,
No, they got for two.
For
this
two.
is for 2 Ford open and 2 Ford closed. These are for 4 trucks.
It says two, though.
It says
In
two.
the actual resolution is 2 of each.
Yeah, the
I'm
agenda,
I'm sorry, I'm reading the resolution.
is more, yeah, the resolution's.
It's for
yeah,
4.
That,
I'm
well, that
sorry.
certainly clears it up. So
Yeah.
it's 4 times 52 is what,
So we're getting four, Don.
We were getting 4, right? 2 open, 2 closed.
Okay, it doesn't appear to say that on the...
I understand.
it doesn't say that on the agenda. It says it in the actual resolution itself is 4.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry.
Yes, Mrs. Hennessy.
Mary Ann Hennessy, 20 Carmelo Drive. First of all, I wish Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and any other holiday that comes in between to everyone. I also want to thank Mr. Sandowski and Mr. Lombardi for the services. Mr. Lombardi for working with me to keep fracking out of Edison. And Sam, I'm coming to you when anything comes up in that way, because there is something coming up about some kind of liquid something being transported on old train cars. What I'm asking about is the resolution to enter into an agreement with Camp Kilmer to being able to get the rights, exclusive right and option to acquire certain real property located in Edison. It's Resolution 735.
Yep.
May I ask what we're,
There's an existing lease that is supporting the affordable housing that's being built there. Because of a problem between HUD and HMFA, they were supposed to get it closed by December 31st. They're not going to be able to close it until January, so they need this extended just so they can get the final deal closed. They expect it to close around January 15.
thank you, I thought we were going after private land.
No. This is
Okay.
existing land.
I'm assuming the bid on the doors are the main vestibule doors here for the town hall?
Correct, they were just, this is giving their performance bond back, they're all fixed.
They're all
and
fixed, so now they're
everything's-
not going to be eeky and
Exactly.
slamming? Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm a little disorganized this evening. Did you to investigate? Oh, can someone explain to me when we do these resolutions for, like, National Road, which is 737, and the one on Runyon? My question has to be, is this the people that own the property coming to the town saying we want to do something and we want to fix it up, and we give them permission to do it, and it's done at all of their cost?
Yes.
Simple as that.
They're both, in both of these cases, not every case, but in both these cases, the owner, and actually, I think these two properties are fairly close together. Both of the properties are having some, significant underuse issues, and so they've asked us to investigate as to whether it would satisfy an area in need of redevelopment. So this is the first step in that process. But yes, both of these are the owners that are approaching the town.
Runyon, the one on Runyon, when I looked it up, it indicated it was a house.
It's a house that is, as I recall it, and I looked at this property over a year ago now that I think about it, it's a house, there's also an industrial use. It's a fairly large piece of property with a lot of, I don't know if there used to be a truck repair facility or something like that on the property. There's a lot, as I recall, there's a lot of vehicles all over the place, and the house was tired to be charitable. So that's why the owner said, maybe we can make better use of this property, given its size and that type of thing.
So taking the house down to make it more into the business end?
It would basically, just level it and put something else there, but that would be down the road. First is to see if it meets the redevelopment criteria, which candidly, just eyeballing it, I think it would. Same thing with the National Road property.
Okay, thank you. The next is the resolutions that start at 756 down through 762. Am I correct in assuming all of these resolutions for vehicles are because of the new water and sewer department? Or are they also vehicles for other parts of the town?
751 is, they're not, some is for the fire, and two are for the garbage. I don't have it's not all of them.
It's not all of them for the water and sewer?
Correct.
All right, and the last one, 762, is that connection with the two officers?
No, that is the ordinance that we did at the last meeting. This is just the resolution to sell the notes.
Okay. And if you'll bear with me, I think I had one more. The laboratory testing services, number 760, is that connected with the water department? Or?
It is.
Okay. And the same with the digital leak, 761?
Yes, that's an actual machine that detects leaks.
Okay. And I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions? Walter?
Walt Stoschel, 2118 Oak Tree Road, on the 1, 2, 3, 4 resolutions regarding the vehicles for the water department. Are any of these vehicles electric vehicles or hybrids?
No, they are not.
Well, it seems the Democrats' New Green Deal doesn't work in Edison at this point. After hearing the whole debate about the water in the summer and fall, I think people were under the impression we could do this in-house, but nobody said we had to buy $400,000 worth of vehicles for a new water department that we set up. On the Axo Nobel and the boat basin, which is 736, what is Axo Nobel going to do to the boat basin?
They asked for, this is just an extension of an existing agreement. Apparently they are investigating some type of, I guess, spill on their property that may have migrated over, and so they need our permission to go on our property to continue the investigation, and in return, they're going to build, I forget exactly what, when they're finished, they're going to restore it, they're going to repave and reline the parking lot, and build a fence near the boat basin, clean up that area a little bit, but they need a little more time to get their testing done, and that's why they came to us to extend the agreement.
So we will get something for their use of the boat basin when they're cleaning up the contamination from their
Right.
property.
Yeah, and in addition to the cleanup, they're gonna redo the parking lot and restripe it, repave it, restripe it, and I can get you the exact, I forget exactly what it, I made some notes about it so that I can answer this question. and-
As long as we're getting something, because a few years ago, we had public service down there, and they used the basin and closed it off, and didn't give us even enough for the permit to launch a boat into the water. So
Well,
it's,
once they're done, then they'll restore it. And, it'll be, it won't be, there's not gonna be a restriction on township use. It's just access at this point.
and they won't block access while they're not going to close it while they're working, are they?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they may have to limit it at certain points, but it's
It'll
they're
still
not
be
gonna close it.
available to the public.
Right.
The areas in need of redevelopment, there are 3 of them on the agenda tonight, and it's another gift to the developers in Edison who can't do what their property is zoned for, so they come to the town and ask, hey, I'd like to do this, let's change what it's zoned for, but I don't want to go and get the council to vote on changing the zoning ordinance so that the public doesn't, and the neighborhood doesn't find out about it and protest that. So they come before the town, say, this is what we want to do, and it goes through this procedure, and if I'm a neighboring property owner, the council does not have to send me a notice that the property next door is now an area in need of redevelopment, and there's going to be a hearing at the planning board and the council meeting. But if it was a change in the zoning ordinance, I'd get notified. The one on Runyon Lane is 54 Runyon Lane. It's on the west side of Runyon Lane. There is a tennis courts and a baseball field there because it's part of the old Prudential Eastern Operations Center that was built in South Plainfield. I know 54, that's the even side of the street. 56 Runyon Lane is the Shotwell House, which is on the National Register, so I know that's that side of the street. This property, like I said, it was part of the Eastern Operations Center for Prudential, and a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, the developer came in with these 2 lots and wanted to build housing and affordable housing, but we did our affordable housing plan, and the judge didn't go for his plan. So it's not a place with all, the last time I was down there, about a year ago, I didn't see any junk vehicles on the property and you know, any dereliction there. The house is there. I don't know if the house, if there's cars and stuff parked on the house, but the house is not one of these lots. So I think you should hold off on that until you find out just exactly what's going on there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions? Ms. Tar.
Just a question on 755. The libraries have come under a lot of scrutiny lately, and I'm just curious, is this a regular janitorial service that's being subcontracted, or is it a special janitorial service? And if so, what janitorial service, special service is $50,000?
This is just regular. They don't have anybody on staff. This is just to clean all 3 libraries.
Okay, so it's a subcontracted group?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the resolutions? Okay, do I have a-
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anything to get pulled for a separate vote? I'll start from my right. Councilman Coyle.
None, sir.
Councilman Deal.
None, sir.
Councilman Patil.
None, sir.
Councilman Joshi.
None, sir.
Councilman Lombardi.
None, sir.
Councilman Sandelsky.
None, sir.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Coyle?
Yes.
Councilmember Deal?
Yes.
Councilmember Joshi?
Yes.
Councilmember Lombardi?
Yes.
Councilmember Till?
Yes.
Councilmember Sandelsky?
Yes.
Council President Gomez?
Yes. Okay, before we move to oral petitions and remarks, we're going to deviate a little bit from the agenda for 1 minute. We want to take a moment to recognize Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Sandelsky for their years of service to the township, years of service to this council and the community of Edison Township. And I'll open it up to my council colleagues for additional moments. I'll start with Councilman Sandelsky, since I have your plaque in my hand. You know, it's, I think that you go in the books as someone who shows his passion, dedication, and has really shown true commitment to this township and to the residents of Edison. You were diligent about everything that you touch on this council, and you always put your passion behind it to see it come through. I'll never forget the first time that I met you was when you joined the zoning board before either one of us were on the council. And I remember saying to myself, I was like, wow, this guy just literally sat there and automatically is engaged and asking questions. And you know, I knew your dad at the time only, and then someone said, yeah, that's Lenny Sandelsky. I was like, no, it's not. I know Lenny. And it was you. So I've known you for quite some time now, and certainly it's been an honor to serve with you on the council. You have been truly a person who's put their heart forward and seen this township move in the right direction. So I'm going to open it up to our council colleagues to add any additional comments, and then we'll present you with this plaque.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I could almost talk about Mike and Lenny together, but we can certainly talk about them separately also. One of the things that happened when I was coming in tonight was Councilman Sam Joshi says, can you believe that this year has gone by so quick? And I said, yes, Sam. I said, yeah, I mean, they do go by quick. So, you know, with both Lenny and Mike, seems like only yesterday. For Lenny, I met Lenny over 20 years ago, and I remember Lenny having discussions when he wasn't a council person, a resident, concerned resident, talking about the things that could be improved in town. I don't even know if you remember that, Lenny. It was in the deli, there, and I'd come in for coffee, and as sometimes happens in a deli, people start chatting about stuff like it's a diner or a barber shop. And Lenny was concerned about things, and I thought to myself, boy, you know, here's a fellow who's involved or wants to be involved. And so years later, and it was years later that Lenny's name came up as a prospect or a candidate for council. I thought Lenny would be an excellent person because he was concerned when I first met him, and that never changed. I have to commend you, Councilman, for your energy. All the time that Lenny was here, when we had an issue that needed to be tackled, Lenny was all in. Some of these projects were pretty big projects. Some of these concerns were big concerns. And Lenny was all in. And he wasn't going to stop until it was solved, at least to the best of his ability to work on it. Lenny did a great job with that. Lenny's also a great communicator. When we were going through these different periods of time where we needed to solve a problem or work on a project, Lenny was communicating constantly, every day, couple times a day. Again, it was almost a tenacious drive to get the projects done. I've served with 20 different council people, 20 people, different council members. And I want to tell you that all of them were good. They really were. I learned from every single council person. They brought different things to the council. Their hearts were all in the same place. Whether we disagreed or agreed, it didn't matter because their hearts were always in the right place. They were trying to get to the right place and do the right thing. I'm going to say this about Michael also. Lenny and Mike are among the best, if not the best, I've served with in 19 years. And I want to congratulate you and thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Council President, I just want to thank my council colleagues, first starting with Councilman Lenny Sandelsky. He handles the tower. Most of you don't know the Edison Tower, and he's chairman of that committee, and the tower, since he's been chairman, has taken some great strides in completion of many successes there, including our now Christmas tree lighting we have there every year, which is a yearly thing that's done in the north end of town. But if you don't know the Sandelsky family, and you need to know just a few things, one thing I do know is the family started JFK in the beginning. John F. Kennedy Hospital needed donations back in its day, with starting to kick off a charitable contribution, and the Sandelsky family was there to kick in one of the first, I believe, 5 donations to kickstart a hospital, which we now have today, for decades later, to serve so many families and to record so many births in Edison. If you think about a town without a hospital, I really don't know what you have, because a town with a hospital means so much. And when that date began back with Mayor Lensis, and what an incredible accomplishment to have a hospital. I also want to thank Councilman Sandelsky for serving our town and being passionate about the community. I always refer to our Councilman Sandelsky as being the first dollar in. Not that I would point to any of my other council colleagues to not give when it's needed, but Lenny be the first to reach into his pocket and hand a donation of $50 to the cheerleaders, to a softball team, to divide up a give to someone's in need. And the increments were not just 50, it was a lot more. So I do want to thank him for that. I also want to mention, switching to our Councilman Lombardi, as you know, the family has been very helpful to our community and has donated as well. I believe at one time until this year, Councilman Lombardi was one of the best council presidents, up until Councilman Gomez had the roughest year in history. But we debated that many times, and still the argument does refer to Councilman Lombardi, because there were no arguments because of his diplomacy. Okay, so he had me on that argument. He really did. But the family has always been there for this community. The both of them voted for me to be a councilman. I think if some of you know that my history of Joe Coyle serving the community, but I waited about 25 years to be a councilman. And there were multiple times that came before this council, being in the top 3 and not getting that selection. And I believe the third time I came here in 2016 on July 21st or 23rd, and they voted me in here, and that could not have happened with the support of the both of them and the entire council. There's a list of things Councilman Lombardi has done and has helped through the community, which you all know, which he served 2 times as council president, and I just want to thank him for his service to Edison Township. Thank you, Councilman Lombardi.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
last 4 years, Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Sandusky, especially the first 2 years, I was a silent listener, and I learned a lot from both of you. And thank you for all the tips and the mentorship that you have done. During my council president, I was a little nervous when I started, but it was you, Councilman Lombardi, who encouraged me and saying, don't worry, everything will be fine. So I really appreciate for all those efforts. And again, as Councilman Joshi said, Councilman Sandusky is an encyclopedia for a lot of things. You name it. Construction, planning, zoning, anything. Quite often, if people reach out to me, I would redirect it to the Councilman Sandusky because he knows every single thing in bits and pieces, what can be done, what cannot be done. So he was honest and always honest in telling people what can be done, what cannot be done. So again, thank you for your service, and we'll definitely miss you on this council dais. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we're putting them together, I obviously made comments on Councilman Sandusky, but I'll take this moment to make my comments on Councilman Lombardi. Mike has been on the council with us for 8 years now, but sometimes it's funny, people confuse us, and I always say, Mike gets a big smile on his face when they call him Gomez, but I think a lot of it also, a lot of it comes from, Mike and I started together. I got on the council the beginning of 2011, and Mike screened and was at every meeting ever since. Sat on the front for that year. We campaigned together. We formed the Public Safety Committee at the very beginning of 2012. We served on the Finance Committee together. We always worked very closely together, and I couldn't tell you how much respect I have for him as an individual, as someone who is very high on integrity, very high on commitment, and someone that you can rely on, someone that you can trust, someone that will always go out of their way to try to do something for someone else, puts himself second. And giving back to your community, that's big, right? That's what we sign up to do. It has been an honor to work with him so closely. But as everybody else has said, he has certainly led by, example of what it is to be a public servant. And he's done a fantastic job and is someone who added so much to this council. And someone who is, yes, very level-headed, who's helped us a lot, many of us up here. And so, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for your years of commitment to this town. Thank you for being here for everybody and helping pushing this town forward. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, sir.
I know I said that I could speak about Mike and Lenny together, and I spoke a little bit about Lenny, and I would like the opportunity, please, to say a few words about Michael, because 2 great council members, fantastic council members, bringing to the council different things, different areas of expertise. Lenny certainly did bring that. He knows building, he knows planning, he knows land, he knows Edison. Michael bringing in the legal aspect of it, the legal points. A lot of times when we're faced with these things, it's wonderful to have our counselor. Mr. Northgrave does a great job, he really does. It's great to have another counsel there, another legal mind there, sharing things, sharing legal points with us as we went. Mike's manner is different in that we heard diplomacy. Absolutely, you won't get a more diplomatic councilman than Michael, and his job as council president was fantastic. Level-headed, you heard that too. I really respected that about Mike. Mike was extremely fair. Mike, I don't know if you have ambitions to be a judge, but boy, you have the qualities to be one, because this man sat there, wasn't into taking sides, wasn't into favoring or bias. He looked at the problem and he solved it exactly like he should do it as a councilman in Edison, and that is with rationale. What, at the end of the day, what's best for the residents of Edison? That is to be admired. That is a terrific quality. I'm going to miss both Lenny and Mike a great deal. I've been with them a long time. I know my wife taught Lenny's daughter. I was at Mike's wedding. I've watched his daughters now go from babies to not so much babies, and he has two beautiful daughters, part of our council family. I'm going to miss you guys. Fantastic job. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll like to just take a moment to present you with these plaques.
Thank you, Councilman. I was going to wait till the end, but I'll make my remarks now. I'd like to thank the people of Edison for having the confidence to elect me to the Township Council 4 years ago. It was an honor and a privilege to serve the people of Edison. Every decision that I made on this council was always made with the residents of the great Township of Edison in mind. I made some very good friends and always returned all the residents' calls for help. I've never missed a council meeting during my term because I felt that the residents of Edison deserve that respect and attention. I would like to thank all the department heads who, without their help during these last 4 years, I would not have been able to accomplish our goals to assist the people of Edison. I would like to thank my council colleagues for their support and assistance. I would like to thank the administration for their help in advancing the best interests of the citizens of our great town. Ms. Ruan and Mr. Northgrave, you have been consummate professionals, and I thank you for your help throughout the years. Cheryl and Marlena, thank you for always helping me whenever I asked. We've accomplished a lot together, and I wish the incoming council the best of luck and success in the future. Thank you for my opportunity to serve all of you, and a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a blessed New Year. Thank you.
Council President,
Sir.
I'd like to thank my council colleagues for this honor and also the wonderful remarks that everyone has made about me. It's truly appreciated. It's been a pleasure working side by side with all of you. When I first started this journey 8 years ago, I was 30 years old, just out of law school for a couple of years, and admittedly, I was very green. There is a large learning curve when starting the council, but it was council people like Councilman Deal, at the time Councilman and now Mayor Lanke, at the time Councilman and now Assemblyman Karabinchek, Dr. Paternity, and Freeholder Tamaro, Council President Gomez, who guided and advised me as to what to look for when determining how to vote on an important issue. And to remember that the most important thing is to do what, in my mind, is the right for the residents of this township. Councilman Zendelsky was also a great asset of this council with his engineering background and his energy and passion for helping the residents of this town. He truly made each and every one of us a better council person because of his passion. Councilman Joshi, who took my place as the young whip on the council. I always enjoyed having conversations with him because we're only 8 years apart, but I guess there's a generational gap. And just having these conversations with him and him bringing a completely new perspective to things, I always just enjoyed the conversation, sometimes heated conversations, but those were always much appreciated. I'd like to thank Mayor Lanke, Maureen, Bill, Melissa, the rest of the administration, and all the directors for working with me and my council colleagues on the budget, on the Public Safety Committee, and on legislation that would improve our township. I also especially want to thank Cheryl, Marlena, and the rest of the clerk's office for all your support throughout these 8 years. While they're not here, but they may watch later, I'd like to thank my wife and 2 daughters for always supporting me and giving me the necessary time it takes to zealously advocate for the residents of this township. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the residents of Edison Township for entrusting me with the obligation of looking out for their best interests, not once, but twice. I can assure each and every one of you that with every vote came careful consideration of the impact the proposal would have on each and every residence. There were some tough votes, but I was here for each and every one of them. I didn't shy away if it was a hot button topic or a difficult vote, which is what we should expect of every council person on this dais. The past 8 years has been a great experience, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity to serve you all. Lastly, I want to congratulate both Council Vice President Patil and Councilman Coyle on their re-election. I'd like to congratulate Councilwoman-elect Joyce Shipp Freeman and Councilman-elect Rich Brescher on the election. My hope is that the council and administration will all work together and put the interest of the township before anything else. And I pledge that I'm going to stay involved, and I'll be watching all of you. Thank you again. I want to wish everyone a blessed holiday season and a happy, healthy, prosperous new year. May God bless the Township of Edison, the County of Middlesex, the State of New Jersey, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you all. We are now moving on to oral petitions and remarks. I'll start from the list. Walt Stoschel.
Walt Stoschel, 2118 Oak Tree Road. In the newspaper last week, there was a list of Green Acres projects that were awarded this year, and it said we got $750,000 for Kilmer Fields. Can we get a brief explanation of what it is and what our contribution to the grant loan is?
I can at the next meeting, Mr. Stoschel. I don't have that paperwork with me, but you're correct, we did receive that.
Okay. And I'd like to thank Mr. Lombardi and Mr. Sandelsky for their public service. It's not easy being a public official or a government official, and it does take a lot of time. The public really only sees them on TV, and that's all they see, but there's a lot of work that the council does, and I know they did a lot of work over their 8 and 4 years on the council. So I wish them well in their future endeavors, and maybe we'll see them in the audience one day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Diamond.
Bruce Diamond, 74 Calvert. Wasn't it nice to hear those words while you guys were alive? Most of the time, you're dead as a doornail when things like that are said about you. So that was very nice. I remember when Lenny first was on the ballot, and I was speaking to Peter Barnes, and I said, this is just what the town needs, another goddamn builder. And it seemed to have worked out okay. Pete said to trust you, and you've done a great job, and at this point, I'm happy to say you and I are friends, and I'm a lucky guy to have met you. Mike, best council president we ever had. I told you that for years, didn't I? Are you going to hold training sessions for the rest of the people?
If they ask.
No one ever asks for help. It's a weird thing. But anyway, I think you guys have done a good job. It's been a tough environment this past year. You held your heads up, and I believe everything you did was in the best interest of what was best for the town. There's differences of opinion, but that's why they make different flavor ice cream. After last council meeting, I got to see the library board meeting, and I have to take my hat off to Mrs. Schiff. She was marvelous at that library board meeting. I've had my differences with her about lead in the water nonsense, but she did a great job standing up and doing the right thing for the town, and I hope those people who walked out are asked not to come back, and we put people on the board who are interested in working as a team for the betterment of the town, not their individual goals. Thank you. Good job, guys. We'll miss you. At least you have more time for the tower board.
Thank you, sir.
I'm grabbing Mike as a board member, Bruce, too.
Okay, we're off the list. Sir? Yep. No.
Mary Ann Hennessy, 20 Carmelo Drive. I brought up two issues at the last meeting, and I want to reiterate them again. The first one has to do with Jaffe Communications. As I said, I don't want them back again. I didn't really see anything that they did that helped us. In the documentation that I got from the finance department, there was never any backup paper from January to February to March to the end of the year, stating exactly what or if they did anything. So I don't want them back. I want you to find somebody else or consider hiring a person to handle the PR for the town the way Woodbridge does. I know everybody says, oh God, here it goes again, Woodbridge, Woodbridge, Woodbridge. But they have a lot of things that are good, and they work. And when something is good and something works, there's no reason why we, meaning everybody in the state, couldn't copy it. So I strongly recommend that we consider getting a person as our own PR. My second issue that I had raised, and I also want to say everything that Mr. Diamond said is exactly my comments to the two outgoing council people. I thank you for everything that you've done for us. I really appreciate it. And my other issue, again, I want to congratulate Ms. Shipp for what she did at the library board. And I also say, those people that were foolish enough to behave the way they did, stand up and walk out of that meeting the way they did after making a mess of that meeting, do not deserve to be able to come back to it. So I strongly urge, I believe it's the mayor who does the appointments, not to appoint them again and perhaps to remove them at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Joe?
Lois Tarr, 52 Reeder Road, Edison, New Jersey. As many of you know, I work with the public sector unions in the town, and I would like to thank Len and Mike for always lending an ear when there was a problem, to listening to what had to be done and helping out where they could. And as a former committee person, District 73, there was never a time I came to either one of you with a problem that you didn't do your best to resolve it. So I'm going to say thank you, People don't understand the time that you put in. They have no conception the time it takes for an elected official to actually do their job well. So thank you from the residents of Edison. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Joseph Johnson, 407 Durham Avenue. Family, friends, and colleagues. First and foremost, I would just like to thank our council members for yet another wonderful year. I thank you all for what you have done and continue to do. You all are role models for our community, and the next generation looks in anticipation for what is to come in 2020. Furthermore, I would just like to acknowledge and congratulate Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Sandelsky for their years of service and their commitment to the people of Edison. Thank you. Lastly, I would like to invite all of our council members out to all of our Lena Harris Foundation Mentorship Program sessions. The sessions are held at J.P. Stevens High School Public Library, beginning on Saturdays, February 8th, 2020, and concluding on Saturday, March 28th, 2020, with our banquet being held on April 4th, 2020, at the Pines Manor. This year, we will have students from both Edison High School as well as J.P. Stevens High School. And all of you are welcome, and I hope to see you there. With that being said, I wish you all a happy, safe, and healthy Christmas, and an even better holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sweeney?
Rich Sweeney, Sutton's Lane, Edison. I don't know what else to say. I mean, how many, everybody said everything. Usually I'm not lost for words, but tonight I'm lost for words. But I'd like to thank Michael Lombardi and Lenny Sandowski for their professionalism, mostly their professionalism. I've been to a lot of these meetings, I've actually watched everybody. Even if I'm not here, that Sunday school on TV is me. But anyway, to come off the subject a little bit, the signs that are out, it seems like there's more signs for some reason than in the past. And what it's creating now is these people that buy cars, buy houses, buy this, buy that. Before you know it, who else knows what's going to be there? But anyway, and whoever is responsible for that pink building that I've always came to the council meetings about, I want to thank them because it's yellow and it looks so much better. It has drain pipes. The grass looks, well, it ain't growing now because of the freeze. But yes, Councilman Deal, talking about how time flies. The older you get it, the faster it flies. I always say it's like a ride down the shore. It starts slow. By the time you get to the end of the ride, that roller coaster's whipping. But anyway, everybody have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and a healthy and Happy New Year. Thank you. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shine?
Jerry Shine, 18 Winthrop Road. First of all, I want to thank Mike and Lenny for the service to Edison. Great job, guys. And secondly, I know there's going to be a new two council members going to be added at the next meeting. I was just wondering if they're going to be up to date with the committee of the whole, the investigation, or are you guys going to sit down and talk to them? And
We'll certainly do that. Absolutely.
okay. And I was just wondering when the next meeting is going to be about that, and when can the residents of Edison get a conclusion to this mess?
I would think, Council President, I would think at our reorg meeting on the 6th, we'll be able to give you a date.
Okay.
When we are getting, and we are certainly going to apprise our new council members of where we are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Lenny, Mike, great job, guys. Great job. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Shipp?
Jerry Shipp Freeman, 41 Main Street. I would like to thank Michael Lombardi and Leonard Sandelsky for all the work that you did for this town. And I know this has been a trying time. I know there was a whole lot of stuff going on early this year, but I want to thank both of you for welcoming me and being so kind to me as my first time at the council. And I'd also like to commend Mr. Gomez, because a lot of stuff was going on this year. I think we must have had like 4 or 5 elections. We had so many different things going on back and forth. Excellent. And I like the fact, too, that Mr. Lombardi, you always held your composure, no matter what went on or whatever happened back and forth, no matter who else got excited behind it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Tony Pasquale, 2 Pine Street. I also want to thank Mr. Lombardi, Mr. Sandelsky for your service. Ms. Sandelsky, if you remember, we had a phone call a few months ago that I really appreciated. I know we didn't agree on some of the stuff, which was fine, but the information that you provided to me was more than I even knew, and it really helped me understand. I really appreciate that. And also, Mr. Gomez, we had a phone call about the same issue. And again, I appreciate the time that you spent on the phone with me and the discussion we had back and forth. It really shows a citizen like me that we can have a conversation, disagree or agree on issues in the town. And 2 things I just want to bring up, just recapture some things that I brought up here. One of them, Mr. Deal, we spoke at the last one, the logo for the Board of Education being used privately. I know Mr. Hartgrove said that, it's, we're not sure, or whatever that was. I still think that's something that should be looked into, because I did bring that up at the Board of Ed meeting, and there was really, didn't really seem like there was any concern about it, but that is still there, and I do think that is something that needs to be looked at.
Council President?
Yes, sir.
I believe Councilman Patil at the last meeting did say that, and I remember, I have a recollection of it too, an ordinance was passed forbidding anybody from using our logo without the express approval of the mayor.
The Board of Education one I was talking about.
Oh, the Board of Education.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Board of Education one. Yeah, that one I understand, but, I just think that should, I don't know if somebody on the council can bring that up with the Board of Ed, but that's just something I think should be addressed. And the other thing, 2 more things I want to bring up, and I brought this up a few weeks ago. Yes, as other people have said, those that did walk out from the library board meeting, to me, they should not be on the library board again. Being in that responsibility that they have, there's no reason why a group of people cannot work together and at least come to a resolution and at least discuss it and not just walk out. So I really feel that there needs to be really serious consideration with those people that did walk out on that. And the last one is, I hope in 2020 you guys can consider the live streaming. I do know the Board of Education is starting that in January, which has been confirmed, and I think is great, and I really think the citizens should also have that opportunity with the council also. So everybody have a happy holiday, and see you in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Ms. Orchid?
I'm Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Councilman Gomez, for keeping the meetings so short and brief. I'm very appreciated, especially when there's combined council meetings. Thank you to Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Sandelsky. It's been a pleasure to work with you and see you on the council. And we had various meetings and activities throughout the township, and it's always a pleasure to see you there. Good luck to your future, whatever that might bring. I look forward to that. We're having one issue. I'm the head of the Clara Barton Neighborhood Preservation, Clara Barton Neighborhood Block Watch. And there seems to be an issue in my neighborhood that there were some suspicious cars or some suspicious people walking onto other people's properties. There's been a street light that's been out on the corner, and I had called up PSE&G last month, and it's still out. Being, of course, it's Christmas, we have the lights that illuminate the street, but my worry is there's more people walking around. There's been some unusual suspects in people's backyards. And we have the ring, but sometimes that's kind of dark if the street isn't properly illuminated at nighttime. So I'm worried that someone's going to get hurt or something's going to happen. So if we could look into that, or if you can say, if you see something, please say something. That's why we tell all our members what to look out for, what's the correct usage and vocabulary when you're calling in to say what the suspects look for. And thank you. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Mr. Diammer.
Anthony Diamond, 15 Rodak Circle. First, I want to thank Councilman Sandowski for his years of service. We haven't always agreed on things, but one thing I respect is your willingness to engage in debate when we have our disagreements. I respect that immensely. I really do. Most won't do that. So thank you for your years of service. I appreciate it. Councilman Lombardi, it's funny, I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday, and I said, if you go to the dictionary and look up councilman, it's Councilman Lombardi who I see in that photo. Like, it's your mannerisms, your professionalism is something that we could all learn from. The way you carry yourself, and I appreciate it. You've been helpful. I've reached out to you a couple times, and it's funny, we are just about the same age, and to put it into perspective, what you have accomplished so far is quite impressive. 2 terms, council president as well. You're an attorney, father, husband. So congratulations. I wish you nothing but the best. As far as the library board, everything was said. I would agree with the last few speakers. I hope there is change coming, and that's it. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, this is Raj Pandya, 20 Arbor Circle, Edison, New Jersey. I'm here for 3 things mainly. One is obviously to thank all of you. Second is I have 2 or 3 suggestions to make as an outsider in perspective on the various things happening in Edison. So first of all, thank you everyone for your service. This year in particular, special thanks to you all, because it was really a Sandy Storm kind of a situation in Edison, and you all stood by it. So really thankful to all of you. I do agree with everyone thanking Councilman Sandusky and Councilman Lombardi for their service. So I do agree, and I also want to thank that. I don't agree with the rest of the residents of Edison that they are saying thank you, thank you. Normally you do that when you give a send-off to someone or retirement to someone. So I don't agree to that. I want you guys to be more and more involved in Edison politics, Edison committee, Edison various ways. So just want to tell all the residents they are not retiring, and we want to request you not to retire. We want you to be involved. So second part, I don't agree that it's not a formal send-off. We want you to be involved in Edison, so please do so. That's my request. A few suggestions. A lot happened in 2019. A suggestion is from council, individual councilman, council member, and also a mayor, possibly, if I may request attorney, if they can put down their thoughts about it, what went right and what did not go so well, kind of a summary. It can help residents to know their stand, their viewpoint, what needs to be done, is what one request or a suggestion I have for the council people to come up and say this. If you have a chance to go a year back, what you could have changed or what you could have done better. So that's my one request or a suggestion. Second, we speak a lot about library and other stuff. Before I come to that, let's be clear and honest that there is a different dynamics happening in Edison. Good news and so not so good news. Good news is a lot of people are getting involved. That is good news. And not so good news is a lot of people really do not know what needs to be done. So the educating of those people, getting involved them in various aspects is key and important. If we don't do that, there'll be some sort of turmoil, some sort of grudge, misunderstanding, misconceptions, whatever we can call it. So I think there could be a various committees which we started, I believe, in water, sewer, other areas. You should involve people, Board of Education, referendum, stuff like that, instead of just saying, going and making a comment about good and not so good. I think involvement of people is good. So one good news is Edison people are little vibrant, vocal. Involve them in various committees, various aspects in Edison, and educate them, put them in some forum, hear them out is the key. Coming to some incidences like library, let's not penalize somebody just for the sake of making it politicized. We talk about BOE, political election, etc. Library is no less than BOE election. So when we are fixing the problem, we need to fix it at ground and the overall perspective level. I am not happy about what happened in library, but it could have been done in much better way to solve problem if there is a problem. So I think suggestion is, as we move forward, Edison as a town need to be a vibrant town. However, we need to have more formalized way to handle things. We need to involve people in various aspects. We need to respect the community, different communities, people who are trying to participate, allow them to have their space, good to have fresh air, new change and new ideas on the table. With that, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Go ahead, sir.
Plus, I get a 3-minute rebuttal too, right? No? All right. I saw Sharika Ahmed, head of the Edison Democrat.
Name and address for the
Crystal,
record,
14
sir.
Fox Road. I saw Sharika Ahmed, head of the Edison Democratic Organization, where Sam Joshi was also at the Fall Festival, where he went to the Democratic booth and continued putting up signs for the IJL team, Tahir Masood, sister-in-law of jihadi Sam Khan, Neville Aristani, and Shannon Peng, two of the people that walked out the library board meeting. Also, the person handing out their flyers was Satish Pundi, the BOE bond attorney. Do you not find that a conflict of interest, sir? They're saying the MCDO, they're saying that the MCDO logo and EDO logo was hijacked,
This is
but
government
the president
issue.
of
What
the
have you
EDO
got to say
was
about
putting.
the government, sir? Tell us what this council needs to know.
The whole point I'm
about
trying
the
to make right
township.
now-
No, the whole point you're making is you're trying to run people down.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Not
you
at
are.
all.
And you,
Not at all.
I've let
I'm trying to bring the
go.
facts to
But,
light.
sir, please, this is an important function. This isn't just for you to amuse yourself.
I'm not
Can
trying
you-
to amuse myself.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to the point where I can thank them if my
Well,
time's
then-
not going to be
then why don't you
wasted.
do that instead of talking about other people? Why don't you get to the-
Because
why don't you get
I
to
don't
the
want to
positive
sit up
point?
here and listen to a bunch of lies. Sharik Ahmed was seen.
Sharik Ahmed is
was
not
seen
on this
at the-
council,
He's
sir.
the head of the Edison Democratic Organization.
And that's got nothing to do with this governing
He had
body.
his logo on the IJL team.
And that's got nothing to do with this body, sir. Get to something relevant, or we're going to ask you to just end your time. So let's talk about
Lombardi,
something
I
relevant.
love you. You did a great job. I wish I could have spent more time with you instead of arguing. Sandelsky, I love you. You're going to come back. You're both coming back anyways. We know it. It's not the last time we saw you guys. Mayor of Carteret is accused of preying on underage teens and young adults.
What
He has-
does that possibly have to do with the Township of Edison? Sir,
Sir,
please
this is
remain
public
relevant.
comments. I can say whatever I
No,
like
you
during.
can't
this
say
is
whatever
my
you
time,
want.
just
It's
like
public
Sandelsky
comment
had
on
his
issues
time.
of relevance to the Township of Edison and this
Did you
council.
take an oath to protect the USA Constitution, sir?
Did I?
Yes, sir.
As an attorney, yes, I did, sir.
Well, then I have a right to speak
No,
public
you
comments.
don't. No,
Yes,
you
I
don't.
do.
That's got, my oath has got nothing to do with you coming and talking to this body about what the mayor of another town
You
has,
tell me I
has
can't
been
talk about
accused of.
Sharik Ahmed. You tell me I can't talk
Because it's
about
got
the multiple
nothing to do with
lies
the
you guys
operation
promote.
of this
Okay.
township, sir.
How about Dio, who says there's a mayoral election coming up? Dio was the one who said he wanted the thing to be moved to April. There's
That had a
150
lot. That had
there
a
was
lot to do with the
150
operation of
teachers in the
government
room, and
here.
all of a sudden he wants it to be moved back to November. When Dearman over there got 5,000 signatures, you refused So, and then you says, oh, we can't go against 5,000 people, but when there's 150 people in the room, now we can go against the democratic process of the people? All I see is a bunch of hypocrisy, sir. And when I try to speak during my public comments, you're violating my USA constitutional rights. Lombardi, I saw you on TV. If a Democrat wants to represent a Republican in court against a news organization, during the court case, the news reporter claimed that I threatened your life. So at some point, you will be contacted to make a statement if this occurred or did not occur. I know it didn't occur, but he keeps dragging it on and on and on, and I feel my elected representatives should say the truth. They should come out and say the truth. I asked you one time to say it on Edison TV. Northgrave stopped you right away. I went today, I saw Miss Marlena. I handed in my thing for the historical board. Are you going to take a look at that, Patil? Look, Lanky has to hire 2 people. It's 5 empty seats, so it's 6 empty seats. He only put 1 person. By law, he has to pick 1 more. Will you pick me before the end of the year? My birthday is today. Serbia, Greece, Russia, we're 7 hours ahead. Italy, too, we're 7 hours ahead. So it's for me, it's the 24th. Different time zones now. You got to do it for me, Patil. You promised me.
Sir, will become at the council. Council is going to take a look at it, and they will, I'm pretty sure they will look at the credential, and they will do the needful.
So Mayor Ryman of Carteret is accused of preying on underage teens and young adults.
Sir,
he has
again,
multiple...
it's got nothing to do with this body,
who said
sir.
to shut that off? You do not have the right. You do
Sir,
not have the right to
comments
do you
this
work
way,
here?
sir.
Are you a public?
Comments
Excuse-
this way,
He has
sir.
multiple
Sir, enough of that.
reports
Sir,
filed
you
for
need to stop.
inappropriate sexual
Please,
misconduct.
please don't make us
accused
do
of
this,
creating
please.
charities centered around children to find new victims. If you or anybody you know has experienced or witnessed Stan Ryman's creepy behavior, please contact Captain Michael the Man at 732-541-4181 or your local police department. What's so wrong about that?
That's terrific. That's terrific.
What's so wrong about that?
It's got
Oh,
nothing
he
to do
also
with this
happened
body.
to be
You're
the
wasting
Middlesex
everyone's
County
time,
Democratic Organization
Council
treasurer
President,
for
can we
10
remove-
years. Is that why you guys
Nah,
were trying to
that's
stop
not- I
me?
don't wanna remove
Was
him
that
yet.
why you were trying to stop me?
No.
Is my 6 minutes over yet?
It's got a couple of seconds left, 30
30
seconds left. Sir, you want to say
And-
something
and the
relevant?
woman- we
Sir,
already got the
comments
cops
this way,
behind me.
sir.
We already
Comments this
time.
way.
I'm not even done.
Sir.
The woman
Sir,
who
do you
who's
want to
not
be
even a
removed?
government official wants me
you
to move
wanna
off
be
the stage and have my microphone cut. How about get elected first, get up there, and then become president and decide what's going to happen? Because until then, only
Do
Northgrave and
not,
Gomez
sir,
decide what
keep your
happens.
comments focused, the comments are public comments to the council. Lecturing people in the audience
And make
is
sure the audience
inappropriate.
doesn't speak to the people at the podium as well.
Sir, unfortunately, you do it as well, and we try to shut it down. But unfortunately, your time is now over.
God
So
bless
these are our
America.
speakers.
Thank you, Sandelsky. I stuck up for you. Remember, I stuck up for you the last time? You're Polish lion. Lombardi, I love you. Hey, can I contact your office about representing me against fake news? Maybe give me some free legal advice? Chris,
Sir, your time is over. Your
We're
time
gonna
is
love
over,
you for
sir.
it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for moving away from me and respecting my constitutional rights.
That's enough.
I just wanted to thank them because they came a little close for no reason.
No, there was,
Anybody else?
Motion to close?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting stands adjourned. Have a happy holiday season, everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and see you in the new year.